What's going on, guys? It is Ashton Martin today with a video that, well, it's going to be a new series on the channel. Basically, if you watch my channel, you know I am a big fan of WWE. And so what we're going to do is we are going to review every single pay-per-view that I've watched live since I've become a wrestling fan. Now, I was born in 2001, so some of my memories from some of these pay-per-views are going to be a bit fuzzy. And sorry guys, I'm doing this on my phone because my computer is being wacky and I have to get it fixed. But anyways, we are starting with No Way Out 2007. This was a SmackDown promoted pay-per-view. However, there was a Raw versus SmackDown match on it, which we'll get into in a minute. Now, there's a few reasons why I actually hate that this was my first pay-per-view experience. One, it happened after one of the best Royal Rumble matches of all time, especially one of the best endings to a Royal Rumble match. I mean, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker basically had like a 4.5-star match at the end of a Rumble match. I mean, come on. Not to mention, that Rumble was extremely unpredictable. In a way, everyone knew it was either going to be Shawn Michaels or The Undertaker. Because everyone pretty much, this is around the time the internet leaks and dirt sheets were starting to really get into the game, and pretty much everyone already knew it was going to be Shawn Michaels versus John Cena at WrestleMania, and Undertaker versus Batista at WrestleMania. Those matches were locked in regardless before the Rumble match, but people didn't know which way they were going to go. They didn't know if they were going to give Undertaker his first Rumble win or if they were going to give Shawn Michaels his third Rumble win and tie Austin. And at this point, I don't think it's ever going to happen, unless it happens with John Cena's retirement tour next year. Which could very well happen. Right now, I think the betting odds are for John Cena to win the Royal Rumble, his third Rumble, to tie Austin, and then go on to WrestleMania to win his 17th World Championship. That is currently what people are expecting. And not only that, but John Cena versus Gunther is like the perfect storyline match. It really is. Because you have the wrestler, like Gunther, who is just there for the sake of wrestling. And then you have John Cena, who is the showman, which is what Gunther stands against. But anyways, we're getting off topic. We'll get to that soon. But anyways, No Way Out 2007. It happened February... Sorry, guys. I have to get up close because... Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. I have to make the thing a little bit bigger because I could not read. So No Way Out 2007 aired February 18th, 2007. It was the first pay-per-view. It was the first pay-per-view that I had ever watched live. It was the first one. I believe my mom ordered it on pay-per-view. And I remember only one match from this card. Also, guys, if you don't, I didn't say this at the beginning, because of how many pay-per-views have happened since 2007, we're going to be doing 2 pay-per-views per video. So this one we're doing No Way Out, and I believe WrestleMania is next. It would have to be, right? So the only match I can truly remember from No Way Out 2007, like if I had not gone back and rewatched it a few weeks ago, is the main event, Undertaker and Batista, the World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania, and then Shawn Michaels, John Cena, the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. And sorry guys, my glasses do not fit my face right, and it's bugging me. But that was the main event, and it was a fantastic main event. The storytelling between both teams leading into WrestleMania, there was obviously more conflict on the Undertaker Batista side of things. But I believe Undertaker and Batista actually did beat John Cena and Shawn Michaels. Actually, I believe I can actually come down here to results. I can. Okay, no, John Cena and Shawn Michaels actually defeated Batista and Undertaker, which kind of proved my point. There was more conflict on the whole Batista thing. I believe this is around the time they were trying to turn him heel, but he was still, in 2007, he was still so universally loved that they couldn't turn him heel. So this was a face versus face match going into Mania. You had Ashley Mazzaro, Jillian Hall, Kelly Layla, and Brooke Adams. I can't even remember who Brooke Adams is. I know the rest. I know Ashley Mazzaro for an unfortunate reason. If you pay attention to professional wrestling news, you know what I'm talking about. Things happened, and yeah. But I don't remember who Brooke Adams is. We had Mr. Kennedy versus Bobby Lashley for the ECW World Championship. Mr. Kennedy won the match by disqualification. Bobby Lashley retained the championship. We had Paul London and Brian Kendrick versus Deuce and Domino. That match was awful. We had Kane versus King Booker, which, if you don't know the reason, this match was literally set up just because Kane eliminated King Booker at the Royal Rumble match. That was literally the only reason this match exists. Finley and the Little Bastard defeated the Boogeyman and Little Boogeyman. Gimmick matches are so stupid, even in 2024. I don't care. Gimmick matches are stupid. Chavo Guerrero defeated Scotty 2 Hotty. Daivari, I believe that's Sean Daivari. I don't think it's Arya. Sean Daivari, Gregory Helms, who was champion, Funaki, Shannon Moore, Jimmy Wang Yang, very underestimated wrestler, by the way, and Jamie Noble for the Cruiserweight Championship. Chris Benoit and the Hardys defeated MVP and Eminem. And RVD defeated Shelton Benjamin in an open. This was actually a very... it was a very average pay-per-view. Nobody would have bought this pay-per-view if it was not for that main event. I mean, you had the 4 biggest active wrestlers in the company all in one single match in the main event. Of course, people were going to buy it. So yeah, that was No Way Out 2007. I rate it like a 3.75 out of 5. it was absolutely saved by that final match. 1,010%. So the next one is the big one, which was the first WrestleMania I had ever watched live. My mom ordered it. WrestleMania 23, which was Raw, SmackDown, and ECW. But ECW was pointless. Sorry guys, I'm a little tired. But WrestleMania 23 was actually pretty decent overall. The booking decisions of this Mania were decent, except for one, which we'll get to in a moment. I pretty much remember everything about this Mania, even without rewatching it. So we're going to go to the results to look at the booking decisions. Ric Flair and Carlito defeated Gregory Helms and Chavo Guerrero in a lumberjack match. It was a 6-minute match. It was okay. Wasn't great. Mr. Kennedy won the Money in the Bank ladder match. It was 25 minutes. Okay, so here's where we get into the controversy. Mr. Kennedy won the contract but never cashed in because he had to surrender it. I can't remember if he had to surrender it to Edge for some reason. Like Vince made up some stupid ass reason. Or if Mr. Kennedy fought Edge in a match with the Money in the Bank contract on the line, which would have made a lot more sense. I can't really remember what happened with that whole situation. Like I said, I'm doing pay-per-views, like stuff I remember. I can't remember every episode of Raw, SmackDown, ECW, yada yada yada. Okay, so next we have the Great Khali versus Kane. The Great Khali defeated Kane by pinfall. This was the worst feud, like worst actual feud of 2007. I think they had like 4 pay-per-view matches, and I think the Great Khali only won one of them, and I believe it was this WrestleMania match. Why Vince McMahon was still trying to build the Great Khali after that fiasco of a World Heavyweight Championship run in 2006, I have no idea. I have no clue why he was still trying to build him. I mean, why would you have him beat Kane, one of the highest tenured guys, unless it was Kane that said, oh, you know what, I'm going to let Great Khali beat me. You know, because it was just a weird booking decision. Kane should have won that match, and it should have just, the feud should have never happened. Chris Benoit defeated MVP to retain the United States Championship. Yes, we're talking about Chris Benoit. It was actually a great match. For less than 10 minutes, it was actually good for what it was. The Undertaker did defeat Batista to win the World Heavyweight Championship, also becoming 14-0. I believe it was 14-0 at the time. I can't actually remember. I believe it was 14-0. Then they had this is basically the piss break match of the night. They had the ECW Originals versus the new ECW Stars. Vince actually, to everyone's surprise, actually booked the ECW Originals to beat his version of ECW. So it was a weird booking decision by Vince. He made the right choice because the new ECW was fucking horrible, but it was weird. He actually let the old guys win. And I think it was more or less because Vince McMahon had the biggest hard-on in the world for Rob Van Dam around this time. And Sabu. Well, no, not Sabu, but yeah, he had like the world's biggest hard-on for RVD in a weird way. Like, he would never want him to win championships, but he would never want him to lose matches. If you go look at RVD's win-loss ratio in WWE, he has a 89% win ratio in his entire career. So 89% of every match he has ever had in WWE, he has won 89% of his... sorry guys, I keep looking over there. Of his matches. So it was like either Vince had a hard-on for him, or RVD was sucking him off underneath. I don't know. We've learned a lot about Vince recently. It wouldn't surprise me. Next, we have another oddball booking decision of the night. It was Bobby Lashley with Donald Trump versus Umaga with Mr. McMahon and Armando Alejandro Estrada. I can't do it, I'm sorry. And I believe it was, whoever lost had to have their hair shaved. And boy, did Vince make the wrong decision. I'm sorry, I think it would have been hilarious, and I am not bringing politics into this. I just think it would have been hilarious had Donald Trump had to have his hair shaved. It would have been hilarious. I am not telling you guys what my political status is, because it's nobody's business but mine. So, I'm leaving it at that. I just think it would have been funny, okay? It shouldn't happen to anyone. It was funny for Vince, too, because he looked freaking stupid. We had Melina versus Ashley Mazzaro, and I hate saying the name because it just reminds me of what happened to her in 2006 or 5 at Tribute to the Troops while the roster was in Afghanistan. So I hate saying her name on this stuff because it was only a 3-minute and 40-second match. This was during a time when, unless your name was Trish Stratus or Lita or Beth Phoenix, Vince McMahon really did not care about you at all. He liked Melina, I think, but Ashley Mazzaro, he did not. Especially after everything we know about him. And then we have the main event. John Cena versus Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship. John Cena beat Shawn Michaels by submission with the STF, which is actually quite funny considering the very year prior he beat Triple H the exact same way. So it was just, guys, I have a cat in here that's frisky, so he's being a nuisance. Sorry. But yeah, so WrestleMania 23 actually went down as one of the better ones, technically speaking. And, honestly, I could rewatch this a few times a day. Not to mention Kane's entrance. Hold on, was it... Dang it. No. Hold on a second. No, it wasn't. That's right, Gary. Oh, so it wasn't this one. There was one where Kane makes an entrance and he comes out like all evil, smiling and stuff. And his entrance is just awesome. So, now, since this is my first video doing this, I'm actually going to go ahead and do 3 pay-per-views. So, we're going to go ahead and do the next pay-per-view, which was Backlash, which I believe was a Raw pay-per-view. Oh, this was actually all 3. Okay. I guess with it being right after WrestleMania, they wanted a... Yeah, they want... Okay. So, Backlash 2007. There is not much I remember about this. So, we're going to go to results, and I'm sure... Okay. Okay. The Hardys defeated Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch. I do remember that match. Actually, a really good tag team match. Melina defeated Mickie James. That match was 9 minutes. I don't remember the match directly, but it was a decent... I heard it was decent. Chris Benoit versus MVP again. Chris Benoit won. The match actually was worse than their Mania match, but of course you're going to perform better when you're going to get paid more. So, yeah. So we have Mr. McMahon, Shane McMahon, and Umaga versus Bobby Lashley in a handicap match. This was one of the greatest booking things Vince has ever done. Because one of the things, it led to one of the funniest storylines ever. We had Do-Rag, or Goo-Rag. Oh my god, I forgot the name of the word, or the word name. Shit. Okay, but we had the ECW Vince, and, it was one of the greatest gimmicks ever. It was so great. We had Undertaker versus Batista. It ended in a draw. It was a last man standing match. It went 21 minutes. This match was horrible. Okay. So, if you watch a recent Last Ride podcast with Undertaker, he'll tell you how he was actually worried his match with Batista was going to be bad at WrestleMania 23. Sorry, guys. That way. Okay, there we go. He said he was worried that his WrestleMania match at WrestleMania 23 was going to be bad. And somehow it just ended up being great. Well, that luck bit both of them in the ass at Backlash. Yeah, this match was horrible from beginning to end. Horrible. There was like one good spot in it that I can remember, and it was when Batista did the Batista bomb through the announcer table. I believe that happened in this match, or he did it on the steel steps. I can't remember. But there was only like one good spot during this match. Next, the saving grace of this pay-per-view. Cena, Edge, Randy, and Shawn Michaels, the Fatal 4-Way, one of the greatest Fatal 4-Ways of all time, especially due to the ending. So, the ending of this match, first of all, the match was great. These 4 people had the best chemistry. I mean, you have Cena and Edge and Orton and Cena. They had the great... I mean, granted, this is before the John Cena, Randy Orton, you know, it was before their major, like, blood feuds, but they still had chemistry. You had Shawn Michaels and Orton, who have had chemistry in the past. The match was fantastic. The ending, though, is what made this match. Shawn Michaels did a sweet chin music to John Cena, who then landed on, I believe he landed on and pinned Randy Orton. And I can't remember exactly. I'm sure if I scroll, I'm not going to go through the whole Wikipedia page to find out everything, but I believe that's what happened. I think he super... It was like one of those out of nowhere super kick things where he hits it and he, like, passes out. He was like, he super kicked him and it like threw himself out of the ring. You know, it was one of those things. But I think he hit it and then he landed on Orton or Edge. I think it was Orton. I'm pretty sure it was Orton. But I could be wrong. But anyways, I am rating this pay-per-view a 4 out of 5 because it was actually not horrible. See? It was actually not horrible. So, anyways, there is my reviews of my first 3 pay-per-views that I ever watched since becoming a fan of professional wrestling. And I will be back tomorrow to do the next 3, which will, I'll be doing 2, which will start with Judgment Day 2007. But anyways, guys, that was the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, even though I rattle on a lot. And I will see you in the next one.